Welcome everyone, I hope you're having a very wonderful day, and welcome to my guide for collared peccary for Parque Fernando. Before we begin, I want to quickly break down how today's guide... Excuse me! That was really rude. Speak of the devil. Gosh, the collared peccary just ran up and just started attacking me. But yep, we're here talking about the collared peccary in today's guide video. That was kind of shocking there, did not expect that. But before we begin, I want to quickly break down how today's guide is going to work. So our first section will be covering their hotspots and locations. And then our second section will be weapon recommendations. And then we'll end today's video with the animal profile, where we'll have a custom map, time zones, ammo chart, and more. Everything you need to make your hunting life 10 times easier. So let's get right into it by quickly going over their drinking time. These guys drink between 0 to 3. And as for locations, they reside all across Fernando, even that coastline, which I'll pull up really quick and show you guys right here. They do not reside at this one lake right where my tent is, where my mouse is as well, just in case so you guys can know. And then we're going to be talking about today's hotspot really quick now. Now, I pretty much have represented this spot in every single video. This spot's a pretty good spot, and I have about 2 zones here, which is pretty consistent for most of these lakes. I've marked all the ones in red at the end of today's video where I've had pretty consistent large groupings of these guys. Now, I do want to point out the larger lakes as themselves had at least maybe about 3 zones for me. It could be different for you guys, but these guys are pretty spaced out for me on this map. Like I said, just want to say again, could be different for you guys. But that pretty much does it for this section, but I'm going to try to show you guys some of these little guys running around. Look at all of them. That is a lot of these little guys. Now, I do believe the one that attacked me at the start of today's video is a part of the one's group that is off to my left over here. I don't know if they're at their zone, but we're about to find out. I don't think they are. They're supposed to be right there. But we do see the oh my gosh, that is like a giga herd of tiny pigs. Wow, look at all of them. Do we have anything interesting within those groups? We have a few level 3s. I think that's 2 groups in one right there. There's no way. I know they can have groups up to at least like 10 or 11, but that's insane. That is a lot of little pigs. But that's pretty much going to cover it for today's hotspots and locations. I'm going to go back to the outpost where I'm going to do my weapon recommendations. Alrighty folks, so here we are back at the outpost. Before we begin, I want to quickly mention 3 things. First things first is, I'm only going to be covering rifles, handguns, and shotguns. I'll not be covering bows because I'm not a bow expert, and I'll leave that to professionals. Secondly, these are just my personal recommendations and favorites. I always say go out there and explore and see what suits you and what you enjoy playing with. And then lastly, I'll be mentioning all the DLC these weapons come from in case you want to pick them up for yourself. So, let's get right into it by our first rifle today, the Elite Thehunter. This is a 300 Blackout rifle. Now, I did a review about this weapon, and honestly, I did not like it too much when it came to hunting small deer, such as black buck and everything. However, for these little pigs, it drops them instantly, and I highly recommend using this. This thing has been a blast to use. It's got a little redemption in my eyes now after using it for these pigs, so I highly recommend picking this bad boy up. It's got low recoil, you have 6 rounds in there, and you can just blast them away. And you can find it in the Hunter's Choice Bolt Action Rifle Pack. Moving on to our second rifle of the day here. Now, this was a close runner-up when it comes to that 300 because both of these rifles were really fun to use on them. The Model 1894, it shoots a 44 round. It's very solid. It's got low recoil as well, and you can just blast away these little pigs with this thing. It insta-drops them. You don't have to chase them all. It is very fun to use, and you can find it in the Ambusher Pack DLC. Moving on to our third and final rifle of the day. The Mosin here is a very solid bolt action, capable of taking these pigs out with one shot. All 3 of these rifles today will immediately drop these pigs, so just keep that in mind if you do not feel like chasing these animals. Now, this thing is pretty solid. It packs a mean punch. I will say, though, the downside to it, it does not have any polymer rounds whatsoever, and it only shoots soft point. But don't let that fool you. This thing is really, really solid, and you can find it in Weapon Pack 2. Moving on to handguns, we're going to be covering probably one of my favorite handguns in the game, at least my second favorite, the 243 Kumo. This thing is one of the top-of-the-line pistols, as it's easy to say that. Well, it's easy to say that because of the capability of it, of putting a rifle scope on it, which outshines all the other pistols, in my opinion, because you have that greater zoom. Even though it's single shot, yeah, but that rifle scope just makes the difference, and it's shooting a rifle round anyways, so it's pretty fun to use, and you can find it in the Assorted Sidearms Weapon Pack. Moving on to shotguns, we'll be covering one shotgun here. The Norden 20 gauge is one of my most recommended shotguns when it comes to hunting small game and stuff. It's semi-auto, you have 3 rounds in there. It's a blast to use, and I highly recommend it. And you can find it in the Ambusher. Oh wait, is it the Ambusher? No. I already said the ambusher pack, the duck and cover pack. My bad, folks. But you can find this bad boy in the duck and cover pack, and that's pretty much it for the weapon recommendation part. I'm going to head over to the animal profile and see you guys there in just a moment. And here we are, folks, at the end of today's video. Before I let you guys go, I'm going to do a quick animal profile breakdown. Starting on the left-hand side, we have all of our basic Peccary information. We have our class, difficulty, silver, gold, and diamond threshold. We have our weight from least to greatest in kilograms and pounds. We have our fur types covering common, rare, and very rare. Moving on the center map, all the hotspots are marked in red and all the other locations in yellow. And we pretty much covered everything we need to know at the start of today's video. And then in the top right hand corner, we have all of our time zones nice and organized for you. And then below that, we have our ammo chart for those full integrity kills. Now that pretty much does it for today's video, folks. If you enjoyed, please drop a like. It really helps out the channel. With all the way, I hope you guys have a very wonderful day. Happy hunting, good luck, and I will see you guys in the next one.